coverage of VCU and U of R basketball is sponsored by Colonial Honda.
Hey, good evening, everyone, from Denver, Colorado, where the Richmond Spiders are still buzzing about yesterday's upset of Vanderbilt. It is the 5th team from a BCS conference that they have beaten this year. Now, one of the big reasons for the win was the play of the Spiders' bench players. They outscored Vanderbilt's reserves 23-4 in the game, and the Spiders may continue to need that kind of effort if they want to advance to the Sweet 16 for just the 2nd time in school history.
Darius obviously changed the game.
And coming up tonight at 11, we'll have a preview of Richmond's game tomorrow against Morehead State, which tips at 5:15, and you can see that game right here on CBS 6. But tonight is game night in Chicago, where the VCU Rams are getting set to take on Georgetown, and for that, we bring in our Sean Robertson live in Chicago. Good evening, Sean.
And good evening, Lay, from Chicago. As the day session has emptied out inside the United Center, as you see it behind me, the night session will begin with St. Peter's taking on Purdue, and the nightcap will pit 11th seed VCU taking on the 6th seed at Georgetown Hoyas, who will have Chris Wright in the lineup back after a 4-game absence due to a broken hand. And don't forget, we will have a full recap of the game tonight against the Hoyas coming up after our late game on CBS 6. Our Lane Casadante from Denver will give you a recap of the game. We're live outside the United Center here in Chicago. Sean Robertson, CBS 6 Sports. Back to Bill and Stephanie.
And just hours after head coach Joe Paterno canceled a news conference, CBS 6 Sports Director Lane Casadante spoke with a local football coach who for years had sent his players to camps at the university. Lane is live in the newsroom with the latest. Lane.
Sam, Richard McPhee has spent the better part of the last 3 decades coaching high school football. He estimates that over the course of 20 years, he took between 25 and 40 players each year to camps at Penn State. Camps in which he helped run drills alongside former Penn State assistant Jerry Sandusky. McPhee is now an assistant at Atlee High School with his son Marcus, who played at Penn State. He was there during the times when Sandusky is alleged to have sexually abused up to 9 boys under the age of 16. McPhee is shocked by what he has heard because there was never any sign of the abuse that he could see, and if there were, he never would have taken kids under his supervision into that kind of environment.
When I was reading something about 1998 and 2002 and all of this with what's going on, I'm saying I was there. It's almost like they're talking about somebody in your family, you know, and it's upsetting to a certain degree, but on the same note, I still have a lot of sympathy for those kids that all of this stuff happened to.
McPhee also sent 6 of his players to play at Penn State on scholarship. One was his son Marcus, who was recruited by Sandusky out of Huguenot High. We'll hear from Marcus at 6 p.m. and get his thoughts on what his former coach is facing. Lane Casadante, CBS.
The man we're referring to, Goochland's own Justin Verlander. CBS 6 Sports Director Lane Casadante spoke with Verlander shortly after the award was announced, and Lane, that was some recognition.
Oh, yeah, it is, Sam. We already knew he was one of the best pitchers in baseball, but today, Justin Verlander accomplished something that only a select few have done in the history of the sport. The baseball writers have chosen the Detroit Tigers ace as the American League Most Valuable Player. This comes just a week after Verlander won the American League Cy Young Award. This marks just the 10th time that a pitcher has won both of those awards in the same season. We caught up with Verlander at his home in Goochland this afternoon, where he admitted that he was thinking about this big award back in the middle of the season.
It hadn't even been a dream of mine. I didn't think it could happen, but after the halfway point when people started thinking about it or talking about it, you know, it came to the forefront of my mind, and I wanted to win it, but didn't know if it would happen. Today's a great day for myself, my family, Richmond, and Detroit.
Coming up later at 6, we'll have more of our exclusive interview with Verlander, including some political maneuvering he may have done, which may have helped his cause. Sam?
Thank you.
One of the biggest hires Mike London made since returning to Charlottesville in 2009 was naming Bill Lazor as his offensive coordinator. Prior to Lazor arriving in Charlottesville, UVA's offense was, in a word, bad. They finished dead last in the conference in total offense in 2009. Since his arrival to Virginia, the Cavaliers' offense has finished no worse than 4th in the ACC and 37th nationally.
We've told our players when we first started here offensively, the video that they watched to learn how to run this offense was really all NFL video.
Good morning, everyone, from Monroe Park and Broad Street, where the UCrops Monument Avenue 10K is about to begin. A record 41,000 people getting ready to take to the streets of Richmond, Virginia, up Monument and back down 6.2 miles. There's a live picture of the starting line right outside the Siegel Center, which has been the site of a lot of happenings and joy this week with the VCU Rams. Here comes the countdown. And there they go. The elite runners are off in the 2011 UCrops Monument Avenue 10K. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lane Casadante, along with the Chief Running Officer of Runner Worlds Magazine, Bart Yasso, who is along again with us. Everyone, and welcome to our 11th and final week of Final Score Friday for the 2011 season. We are very honored to have the two-time defending state champions, the Cosby Cheerleaders, here to kick off the playoffs this week. You see, they got region trophy, they got district trophy, and they got state trophy for the second year in a row. Our game of the week included two of the heavyweights in the playoffs here in the Central Region, LC Bird and Varina. They met 5 times before in the playoffs, and Bird has pretty much dominated this matchup once they get to the postseason. Our Sean Robertson is live in Chesterfield tonight to tell us if they did it again. Sean?
Thanks, Lane. You mentioned the two heavyweights in Division 6. They haven't met in the postseason since 2004. Bird has won the last 3 when they've met in the postseason, and tonight was looking for a 4th straight win. Division 6 regional semifinal here at LC Bird. The Skyhawks looking for a 2nd straight finals appearance. Varina is trying to make the regional final for the first time since 2008. Second quarter, 3-0 Blue Devils. Yaki Johnson finds a small window and then will spin across the goal line from 7 yards out. The point after would be good. Skyhawks would lead 7-3 and take it into the locker room. Third quarter, Varina would come back behind Maurice Canaday. He will find Donovan Dowling, and then he'll go down the sideline for a 20-yard touchdown. The Blue Devils would take a 10-7 lead. But back comes LC Bird behind the feet of Johnson. This time a 4-yard touchdown run. He would have 3 on the night. Skyhawks would lead 21-10 in the fourth quarter. Varina, though, would have an answer. Canaday, this time on the ground from 5 yards out. The 2-point conversion failed. LC Bird's lead is 21-16. Varina will get another chance after recovering an onside kick. Canaday, though, trying to make a play but loses the football. LC Bird would recover and run out the clock as they take the win 21-16 here at home to advance to the Division 6 regional final for the 2nd consecutive season.
Kids played hard and you know, right now I'm drained, so I know they're drained. It's you know, hard-fought football game, and kids overcame a lot tonight in some certain situations, and just very proud to, you know, get another win under our belt.
And another great performance for Yaki Johnson, 39 rushes, 248 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and he'll get at least one more game as Bird is in the Division 6 regional final for the 2nd straight year. We're live here at LC Bird High School. Sean Robertson for Final Score Friday. Lane, back to you.
All right, Sean, thanks very much. Now to find out who LC Bird was going to get in the regional final, top-seeded Hermitage Panthers began their trip to get back to the Division 6 state title game tonight. They hosted Thomas Dale. The Knights had the most losses of any D6 team in the playoffs this year, but they won the games that mattered in their district, and they were the last team to beat the Panthers in the regionals.
Up next for the team that many thought would not make it to the NCAA tournament is a date with Purdue here at the United Center Sunday afternoon. And one more Rams win will give them a ticket to San Antonio and the Sweet 16. Reporting from Chicago at the United Center, Sean Robertson, CBS 6 Sports.
Richmond has now won 7 of their last 9 games against ranked opponents, and they are 5-1 against BCS schools this year. Up next, a Saturday matchup with Morehead State, who upset Louisville earlier in the day. In Denver with the Spiders.
Ex-Bulldogs possession off of the Van Zant miss. Matt Howard, the offensive rebound and the stick back, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Butler up 70-62. They would go on to advance to their 2nd straight national title game by that 70-62 score. And speaking about Houston, that's where our Lane Casadante is right now. He has more from game 1 of tonight's Final Four. Lane.
Well, good evening from Houston, Sean. You know, to a man, the VCU players said there were no surprises about what Butler did. The VCU coaching staff had them very well prepared for what the Bulldogs were going to throw at them. But when VCU has made so many shots throughout this tournament, tonight they just didn't seem to fall. And in the words of former Benedictine standout Bradford Burgess, sometimes that's just basketball. And Butler went to the foul line 26 times in this game, made 20 of their free throws. In fact, forward Matt Howard outshot the Rams' entire team from the foul line. He made 11 of 12. The Rams were only 8 of 13 from the foul line. Head coach Shaka Smart was asked about that after the game and said he had plenty to say about the officiating, but then spied CAA Commissioner Tom Yeager in the back of the room and thought better about sharing all of his thoughts. We will have much more from Houston coming up tomorrow night on CBS 6. It's been a fantastic season that no one is going to forget anytime soon, Sean. Live in Houston, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports. We'll send it back to you. So now all those questions Frank Beamer was hoping to avoid in the future about a bad record against teams ranked in the top 5 and a poor showing in BCS games, they're not going away. Virginia Tech did win 11 straight games this year, and they will be proud of this season, just not so much tonight. From the Orange Bowl in South Florida, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports. Here at Penske Racing, their Sprint Cup operations have scaled back from 3 teams to 2. Now, most owners will tell you that they want to have as many teams as NASCAR will allow for the sponsorship opportunities and for the testing information. But not everybody says that having more information is necessarily a good thing when getting ready for these races. Sean Robertson is in Northern Virginia tonight with a recap of everything that's happened today. Sean?
Lane, coming into this season, many were wondering if Donovan McNabb and Albert Haynesworth both would be on the Redskins roster this season. Last night, McNabb was shipped to Minnesota, and today the other shoe dropped. If the Cavs are going to beat Miami Thursday afternoon, 70 is the magic number. UVA is 18-2 under head coach Tony Bennett when they score 70 or more points. At the ACC tournament in Greensboro, Sean Robertson, CBS 6 Sports.
Many of these prospects won't know where they'll begin the season until the Giants break camp here at the end of March, and that may give some of them just a week to get ready for Richmond's opener at the Diamond on April 7th. In Scottsdale, Arizona, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports.
Sean Robertson is live with highlights of tonight's VCU University of Richmond game. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Stephanie and Bill. The two teams that put Richmond on the national map, VCU and Richmond, met for the first time since both teams made it to the Sweet 16 in San Antonio. Let's go to the highlights. And it was a sold-out crowd here at the Siegel Center earlier tonight. VCU looking for some payback from last year's loss at the Robins Center. Early on, Francis Cedric Martel keeping Richmond up early with this and one to give Richmond a 2-point lead. But Bradford Burgess and the Rams will come back. He knocks down the 3, part of a 10-0 VCU run to lead by 8. The Rams, though, could not stop Cedric Lindsey in the first half. This layup, he had 17 points in the first half, part of a 22-point performance for him. But VCU would lead 35-27 behind Troy Daniels. Daniels knocks down the 3. He had 13 in the ball game. Second half, though, the other superstar for Richmond, Kendall Anthony, hitting the 3. 11 of his 13 points were scored in the second half. They cut it to within 3 twice in the second half, but the Rams had an answer as well. Rob Brandenburg, he scored 14 points all in the second half, part of a big 22-4 run from VCU as they would pull away late and knock off the Spiders here at the Siegel Center by the count of 73-51.